going on, everybody? Thank you for coming back to the YouTube channel. This is day number 3 of the how-tos. We're going to be putting these videos out periodically as I'm trying to catch up, because I've been telling you I've been going to do them for about a year to year and a half now. So here we are. Guess what today's topic is? It's wipers. This is going to be a real short one. This one's real easy. So wipers are kind of a very simple technology, but they're meant to do a big... It's going to be a real short one. This one's real easy. So wipers are kind of a very simple technology, but they're meant to do a big job, right? These wipers are constructed in a way where the newer ones have kind of a exoskeleton exterior that kind of flexes. It's kind of, they're called beam style, as opposed to the old school style that used to have the rails with the metal holding the plastic blade on, which are usually replaceable. But it's a pain in the butt to finally get that through. But anyway, these last a little bit longer. This is a Bosch brand. It really doesn't matter what brand, but you always get what you pay for. So don't forget that, and I tell people that all the time. So the technology behind a wiper blade, thin rubber. You got the sheeting, it's bonded in some way to keep its shape. Now the reason why this is flexible is because every windshield is contoured differently from the way it is to the edges. So everything has to be able to adjust to the different spots on the windshield to maintain its wiping path. Now these are typically easier to put on. There are other ones that are harder, you know, and there's reasons why sometimes we don't charge for doing certain things like installing wiper blades. It takes 2 seconds. Off, on, here you go, on your way, take care. See you later. Step 1, you unpackage your wiper blade from it. You double check to make sure, because there's different types of fittings that can go on here and adapters for different types of wiper blades. If yours already has one that's got the looped kind of contour to it and it's open on the backside, you're good to go. You can leave the one that's on there typically. But if not, you may have to pull this out some way or change it. Some of them, the whole body slides off, pulls out, and you replace it with the actual fitting that you need for it. This one's already ready to go because, like I said, I just took this off my vehicle anyway. So since this is the right one, ready to go, you're going to lift up your wiper arm, put it in a position right there so it holds up. Now this is meant so that you can clear it if you need to from dirt and debris for servicing, or also so a lot of people use it in the winter time, especially up here in the Northeast. If it's going to snow or ice, they don't want it freezing to the windshield, so that when they come out in the morning, they don't have to wait for it to completely defrost. They can actually still use their wipers. They'll clean off the blades, put them back down as it goes, and keep the heat going to keep it moving. So this one now, we're literally going to take this, slide it up under that hook that's there, that J-hook, and if you notice, the J-hook has a cutout on the inside, and I'll show you that in that video right, or the picture right here. And that J-hook is what actually keeps it in its place. So once you put it on, you're gonna hear an audible click if you tug up hard enough. Brace the arm with your other hand so that you don't damage or risk pulling it, and then pull up. Once you hear the click, you're good. You can gently lower the arm, and you're ready to go. Your wiper is installed. There are some that are way more difficult than that, where you have to change the bodies, but then some that are literally specific only to the type of vehicle and that year, make, and model. For some reason, Volkswagens, Volvos, and some Fords even, believe it or not. So always make sure you're getting the right wiper for your vehicle. Always make sure it's the right length as well, because you don't want one too short, because it's not gonna clear enough of the windshield in its archway. If you get one too long, it can extend further, make noise, rip and tear prematurely as it's wiping and hitting obstructions. So it's always make sure you're getting the right size for the right side of your car, left to right. Some vehicles it will be the same exact size. Some vehicles it will be 6 to 10 inches difference between the size. So double check it. I'm gonna go show you the other side and how to remove the wiper blade. You're gonna come on over. You're gonna see if you have enough clearance within your hood here as well, to make sure that your arm is not going to contact it, and make sure you don't pop your hood or anything like that. I'll get to that in a second. Keep that in mind. Put a pin in that, the popping of the hood. You're going to look at your wiper blade. Usually you inspect them by seeing the edges, roll them over, see if they're torn, see if they're together. This one's in good nick. We're good, it's moving. Now right under here, and we'll show it to you if we can get the camera to focus, and then we'll also, if we have to, just put up a still for you. There's a small tab right here. If you push that tab, sometimes it's push, sometimes it's pull. That time it was pull out, so I pushed the tab that way and then push down on the wiper blade, and there it is, it's off. Now if you were gonna go ahead and replace this one, if you looked at it and it looked like it needed, even though your first inspection seemed fine, it's always good to double check for any other fine cracks or anything like that that you didn't really notice. It's good to go, so we're gonna go ahead and reinstall it the same way we did the other side. We're gonna make sure the arm is tipped up enough to clear any obstructions or at its full rest position. We're gonna insert the J-hook into its home there, and then pull. And once you feel that tug click, double check, and you're good to go. Your wipers are replaced. Now, I'm gonna come right back with a couple other solutions with wipers and show you a few different styles as well so that you can understand what that video meant at the beginning here about the different styles that are proprietary to some vehicles and manufacturers. So on this one here, it's kind of the same, but it's kind of different. So with these Rain-X ones and some of these other brands, you actually have to lift this tab up out of the way, and then when you tilt out, there may or may not be a button under here. This one doesn't have a button, so once you tilt that, you can push down, it'll release, you tilt it back, and then you can pull it completely out. So there's a little bit of a motion that has to be done with this one. So this one right here is slightly different, but also kind of the same as well. If you're gonna notice the pattern here. Wiper technology does not change all that often, but there are slight differences. So with this one here, you still have that J-hook that hooks on to retain it and keep it in place, except it's offset from the middle of the wiper and it has a different adapter on it. So with this one here, I can literally take it off and replace it back on that way, if you got the same exact wiper and same manufacturer. If not, you can pull it out that way. That one fought me a little bit because it's been sitting here for months and months and months. But other than that, you got two options. If you're buying the same exact style on this one, you can literally leave that clip still on there and just change the blade out itself, or you can take it off and replace everything with the new blade once that comes with the package. Here we got a 2015 Ford Fiesta. It may not look like it at the current moment, but it is, trust me. So this one has kind of the same beam style wiper that the other one has. The only difference is, if you notice and come look at the arm, it's kind of a big difference. It's noticeable. It's kind of its own. This arm stays all as part of this with the car. So this one has a button here that you release, pull up, and it's out. Now, since it has this style, some of the aftermarket solutions do not come with this style adapter. Some of these you might actually have to literally call the manufacturer and get it from them directly. You might have to go to a dealer or a direct vendor of the OE part. Sometimes that's how it goes. As the car ages and time goes on, aftermarket companies start to support more and more and more, so eventually they do produce more, but sometimes it takes years and years for that to happen. So don't be surprised if one day you happen to buy a Ford and the only place you can get your wiper blade from is a Ford. Volvo does this a lot, Mercedes does this a lot, BMW does this a lot, Volkswagen does it a lot. So keep that in mind. And yes, they are double to triple the price most of the time. I'm gonna show you the difference on this one. Same deal, BMW. As I said, some vehicles, you have to watch your clearances on your wiper arms. This one, come look at this convertible hood, how close that is. And the only reason it's like this is because the battery died on it. We shut the car off while it was in motion and the battery was dead on it, so we haven't had a chance to. But if you look at this, this is with the hood fully closed and how it works. It's very close to that hood. It's near touching that hood. I could barely put a piece of paper through it, but it's not touching. And that's why you gotta be very careful when you are working on wiper blades and your vehicle. You gotta check things. They design things to be sleek, sophisticated, and very aerodynamic, but sometimes that means clearances and positioning of things kind of suck. BMW here has a similar design to the Ford, where it's a push button. This is gonna fight me, I'm sure. So it's a push button, but it has a clip that adjusts, and you have to kind of push down to lock and pull up to unlock, and that'll allow it to either snap on or come off. So then we're gonna go ahead and put this back in, make sure we're lined up to where we should. We're gonna push that back down, and the wipers back on. Alright guys, so there you have it. I showed you a couple different types of technology, hookups for wiper blades. I showed you how to check them correctly. I showed you how to maintain them. I showed you what to prepare yourself for just in case you buy certain types of vehicles to keep things in mind for maintenance. So with that said, here's day 3. Wiper blades are done. Let's hit the button. Let's get out of here.